Hello all, welcome to study 11 of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation. Again, I bring you a Russian chess composer. This time we're talking about Alexander Gerbstman. Alexander Gerbstman also produced very interesting and quality studies, about a bit more than 300, but almost half of them were given prizes. So we're talking about almost one in two studies that he produced getting prizes. So really interesting. He also knew very famous chess composers from the Soviet times, the Russian and Soviet times. He met and he was friend also of Alexei Troitsky and Leonid Kubil. In fact, he tried to convince them in Leningrad to leave Leningrad before or in the beginning of the siege of Leningrad, that eventually they died there by starvation. Sad story. He was not able, of course, to convince them to leave, unfortunately for all of us. But okay, let's go for the good part. Let's see the study. Again, you already know you are going to have the countdown. So 10 minutes, either you keep it and try to find the solution during the time, pause if you need more time. You also can jump to the chapter of the solution. So see you in a while on the solution. Okay, and hope you have found the right move. It's king g4 exclamation mark. So we attack the bishop. And as we are going to see, there's no way the bishops can escape the persecution that white pieces are going to do. But before that, what other moves could be analyzed here to see what were our possibilities? Not that many. Like for example, trying to cut the king away just allows the bishop to stay free, giving a check, and then the king moves, the other bishop goes away, and it's impossible to force the position with this. Also, if we try something like giving the check, trying to do some kind of situation to trap the pinning the bishops with the king, like over here, pinning, but I have time to leave. There's no way to force it, and again, there's a draw. Last move that we can try on the beginning, it's go with the knight to g4. Here is a little better than the ones we saw already because we are bringing a piece closer to where the action is happening. Now check. Now black needs to be more careful because if it goes, for example, here over here, then we can of course bring the knight. We are, if you look, we are checking and attacking the bishop, and even if the king protects the bishop, we are going to be able to even get the pawn, get the same position again. Don't forget that if the king goes to the corner, then it's faster. It's a checkmate. So the king needs to come back to the bishop, and after a while, we are going to pin the bishop, and in the next move, we are going to win. So, but of course, if black plays the right move, it's going to be a draw because we are not able to win against the pair of bishops. Let's come back to the main line, king g4. The bishop is attacked, and this is the key situation. The bishop has no good square. Let's see them all. Let's see first what about bishop b8. Well, here we use our rook attacking the two bishops. Of course, black has the possibility to check our king. The king has two possibilities, but of course, if we go to f3, we are going to be caught in this uncomfortable check, losing the rook and the game. So we don't want to do that. And so we move to the side. We move to the side, and bishop b8 is attacked. It needs to move again. So maybe this one is the best, attacking our knight. Of course, we could get away with the knight, but first there's an interesting intermediate check that we want to do, checking the king, forcing the king to move back to g7. This is important. And now we attack the bishop. So the bishop will move away. Notice that we are threatening rook a7 and pinning the light square bishop. So this is the most natural. But now we attack the bishop, and there's no way black can escape the follow-ups moves because whatever the move black plays, if it plays something like this, attacking my rook, then we simply will get one of the bishops, even if, for example, if first plays over here, then we can escape simply by playing king h4, and in the next move we are going to take the bishop, and it's game over for black. So let's move back, and we saw bishop going to b8. Now let's look at bishop c7. Well, this is not much different. We first give a check, so forcing the king to the only possible move, king g6. Then we give another check with our rook, rook a6 check. Again, just one possible move. Of course, I can lose one bishop if I block it, but this is the only possible move. And now, yes, I have time to pin again the dark square bishop, and it will be lost. And so we are going to win the game. And as you can see, we are moving fast until all possibilities that black has. Here it's really faster because we have this fork, so we win the bishop in the following move. So also not possible. Another one that may sound uncomfortable at the beginning, but if you look close, we can simply give a check, the king moves, and then we can attack both bishops. Well, at first you can say, oh, yes, but black can pin my rook, and yeah, temporarily, because what happens is I play king f5 check, the king moves, let's say for example over here, and all is covered, and I have one extra bishop and a win in my hands. So more moves that remain is just bishop e1. Of course, bishop over here will be caught either by the king or by the rook, so the only remaining one is bishop e1. That is also the best defense, at least in my opinion. So here we give a check again, forcing the forced move of king going to g6. Now we bring our rook. Of course, we don't want to play moves like this one. It's too soon. Okay, we are attacking the two bishops, but we are giving time for them to escape, because now if I take this one, I will lose my knight. So not a good idea. This is the right move. Checking. The king moves. Now it seems okay, I can't force, but there's a very interesting maneuver. I would say even a tactic, that I give a fork with my knight, checking the king and of course the bishop. The king needs to keep protecting the bishop, and then I take the bishop, and finally I will check and take the bishop. So when the king moves, it's game over. Okay, this was the study from Alexander Gerbstman. I hope you have enjoyed, and see you in future studies. Bye bye.